Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Weekend Slice. As you've seen in that fantastically awesome intro, we're taking a look at Interstellar Marines. Now, before we get started with the game and talking about the game and whatnot, let me just clarify one thing. A very important thing, in my opinion. This game is pre alpha, from what I've seen in the official announcements. That's where it's at right now, which means that it's bare bones. There's not a lot of game here, there's not a lot of things that have been implemented. The last time I actually played the game, which was not that long ago, there wasn't even a crouch option for your character. You could only walk, jump, and shoot. However, the interesting thing about this in a game, this project, isn't what you have in place at the moment. It is so ambitious that it just, you feel like you have to support these guys. You feel like you want to give them the benefit of the doubt because what they are working on and what they are announcing is so passion filled, and it's so right up my alley, to put it in those words, that I just couldn't help but be a part of whatever they are trying to set up. What they're trying to do is they're trying to create a triple A quality, which means like something on the level of a blockbuster game, but in an independent fashion. No money from they don't want to be dependent on publishers. I don't think they would mind getting money from publishers. I just don't think they want to be dependent on publishers. And yes, this game has been through a lot of ups and downs and a lot of things that have gone wrong. The project went live, started in a certain direction, started in a certain way with a plan and everything, and then it sort of everything sort of fell to pieces. And for a while there were only two guys working on the game. Now, let's just make that clear. Two guys working on a game with this sort of scope in mind and this sort of ambition, and essentially this type of game in the first place, a first-person shooter with high-end graphics and ambitious elements to it. It's not just a run and gun sort of game. It's meant to be tactical. It's meant to be slower. It's meant to be a bit more complex. It's meant to have RPG elements. Two guys working on something like that is unimaginable in a world where, if you listen to what the media is reporting, Titanfall, for example, is being made by somewhere in between 60 to 90 guys. 60 to 90 guys. And in this game, Interstellar Marines at one point in time had two guys working on it, just to put things a bit into perspective. Also, to give you another perspective, apparently Bioshock Infinite, which is an amazing game that I really, really love, was made by around 200 people in total. Or at least they had like 200 people coming and going throughout the years on the project. That's an amazing number, but it shows you how complex the project, the production, the making of such a ambitious game can be. So whatever it is you might think about the game right now, if you just log into it and see it, or if you just watch a video like the one I'm doing right now and think, oh man, there's not a lot of stuff in there and it doesn't look that impressive. It started out with a small team, ended up then later on with only two guys working on it, and now they're back up to, I don't know, something around 7, 9 people. But just put that into perspective. Interstellar Marines, 7, 9, just somewhere around 10 people max right now working for the company making the game, not necessarily all of them working on the game. The numbers might grow, yes, but they're still growing right now. They're still at the beginning stage, whereas something like Titanfall, which a lot of people are very excited about, and but at the same time, they've been complaining that it's not that complex. There's not a lot of stuff in it. It's sort of simplistic. It's just Call of Duty but with jetpacks and Max and this and that and this and that. Why doesn't it have a single player? Oh man, they cut out a lot of stuff and they left a lot of stuff out just to make the game, and you're going to pay $60 for something that doesn't have an extreme amount of content, and it's not going to be worth your money, and so on and so forth. Even that game, which people are not happy with the amount of content that it offers at the moment, or that has, or what content from it has already been announced, because I don't think everything's been announced yet. I'm not going to say that it's going to be, packed with things to do, but Titanfall, I think, is going to be a game that offers players quite a lot of stuff to do for the amount of money you pay for it. It's going to be a great multiplayer experience, especially on consoles, because that's where Call of Duty runs supreme. But even for that game, which is sort of, whatever you think about it, it is an ambitious, full-scale AAA game with support from Microsoft and whatnot. Even for a game like that, people are complaining that there's still not a lot of stuff in it, and it's being made by 60 to 90 people. And that's considered today to be not even an average team. That's sort of a okay-ish team. It's not small, but it's definitely not big. And the average has grown by quite a high margin lately. Now let's get back to Interstellar Marines. I love this project. I love the ambition behind it. I love the fact that they're looking to make a game that sort of takes something like Rainbow Six, which is a first-person shooter with a tactical sort of hint to it, which means that you're not running around shooting things blindly. You're slowly making your way through the levels, tactically planning your way, and making sure that you're evaluating situations before you're getting into them. And it's sort of slower, more thoughtful, more analytical than something like Call of Duty. And they're taking that element and they're mixing it up with something like, I don't know how to, they're describing it as System Shock 2. It's sort of System Shock 2 meets something like Alien in a way. I think that's sort of obvious with the Interstellar Marines, the Marines from Aliens, Interstellar Marines, you kind of get it. The similarity is there, the inspiration is obvious. But, taking that, those three things, the horror element of something like System Shock 2 with the science fiction element of that, where you're sort of exploring, let's say, a location that has underwent something terrible, but you don't know necessarily what it is. It could be a monster running around, creature feature type of thing like Alien or Aliens. Or it could be something like System Shock 2, where there's a multitude of things that have gone wrong to conspire into creating the hazardous situation that you're going to find yourself in. And combine that with the teamwork atmosphere of something like Aliens, where those Marines had personality and they were lively and they would talk to each other and they would give sort of um, an energy to the things that were going on. Despite the gloom and doom of everything around them, they still communicated and talked and felt like real characters and propelled the story forward. And those things, the tactical shooting aspect, the tactical first-person aspect, the camaraderie and closeness of the characters in Aliens, and the sort of horror, multitude of horror type stories from System Shock 2. I think this is going to be, if they actually manage to pull it off, pretty damn amazing. Now, why am I sort of happy about a game that is in such an early stage of development? The promise is so ambitious and so large in terms of scope, but what we have available at the moment really is not a lot, why am I happy about it and not more sort of on the side of people, on the side of the people who are already dismissing this because they think these guys haven't done enough to prove that they're capable to reach that ambitious goal. Now, I can't confirm, I don't really believe if these guys can do it or if these guys can do it. I'm not, convinced of any of those two opinions. I'm not into any camp right now, but what I feel is that they've taken the clever approach. They haven't gone and built a sort of a game that's already sort of complete, but it doesn't work in any single aspect. You've seen this in a lot of games which make huge promises, but then you can drive a car into the jungle while jumping from the car and shooting the terrorists into the face, grabbing the terrorist's weapon and throwing it, and you get a game that has all of those elements theoretically into the gameplay, but it's so poorly made that none of them work. The car is shitty to drive, the weapon firing looks like, I don't know, you're bashing stones together, and the whatever mechanic to do some sort of clever animated melee combat is broken. These guys are taking it slowly. Zero Point Software are taking it a bit slowly. They're building this up brick by brick, and I admire that because it makes sense. When you have a small team, you can't just go all in and yeah, man, it's easy. Get a graphics engine, slap on some animations, just get some level design together and do it. People who know about software and game development, because a lot of people still forget to this day that games are software, will realize that you can't really do that if you want to make something that is, I don't know, good. So what I'm going to do today in this video, this is going to be a first video about the game. I'm not going to go into what's available in terms of gameplay right now, because the only thing that you can do in terms of gameplay right now is multiplayer. You can get into multiplayer matches, they're team deathmatch, and they're fantastic. Despite the limitations, the lack of crouch, the fact that there's only one weapon in the game, the, I don't know, lack of customization. You can't really customize your character. There's no classes. Everyone's pretty much playing the same thing. Despite all of that, it's tremendously fun because it's the core elements of the game design that are already in place. Boy, do they work, and boy, are they well put together. Because I haven't had, like, I'm not the kind of player that goes into, I don't play multiplayer, I don't go into that sort of, I don't let me play hours and hours of multiplayer. I played multiplayer a while back, a long time ago. I dabbled with with a little bit of Counter Strike, a little bit of Quake, a little bit of Quake Arena. In some other games, RTSs and RPGs, action RPGs actually, Diablo 2, some Heroes of Might and Magic 3, both in hot seat and in network, LAN mode. I played a little bit of that, but multiplayer was always a thing that I played for like maximum an hour and got really bored with the game because I tend to be a single player gamer. I don't blame anyone who plays multiplayer. I don't hold it against them. I don't think single player is superior to multiplayer and people who play multiplayer are, no, I don't do that. Everyone can play whatever they feel is best for them. For me, it's single player. And when I put money into Interstellar Marines, for a simple reason. I thought, the project, the dream, the ambition, the fact that these guys went through so much hardship already, losing their team, losing their backing, having to start essentially from scratch, and they're still at it, and they're still doing it, and they're still, putting their, blood and sweat into the project. I said, you know what? I don't even care if the game comes out. I like the fact that some people are out there apparently following their dream and doing what they believe in. But when I got into the game and I saw, there's some multiplayer available and there's, people actually playing, let's see how it is. It turned out to be fantastic. But that's for the next video about this game. What am I going to do today, though, is I'm going to go into one of the maps, and I'm going to show you walking, by myself on the map, a little bit of what's available at the moment. And I'm going to comment on the things that are already in the game. First of all, the graphics. I can't run this game maxed out. I don't have a fantastic computer. I know that. And that might be one of the reasons. But also, I don't think they've fully optimized what's available in the game. The engine, the Unity engine that they were using. It seems to be a little bit... I can only run the game at 2 settings. That is at the desktop resolution, which is killing me in terms of performance. Or I can run it at 640 by something, 480. 640 by 480, which is such an old school resolution I had even forgotten it existed. I don't want to run the game at that resolution because it looks like crap and it doesn't run all that better. I don't know what's going on with that. I think they need to fix that ASAP, the resolution thing. As far as I understand, it's something to do with Unity itself. It might not be their fault, the developer's fault. Okay, moving on from the performance thing, I really like the atmosphere and the design. Now, just to make one thing very clear, you're not playing on some alien planet. You're not playing even on Earth or something like that. You're playing in a dome. Yep, ladies and gentlemen, that is a light bulb. That's not the sun, that is a giant light bulb. I'm joking, it's a combination of light bulbs. The point that I get from this is that you're an interstellar marine in training, and you're in this dome that is sort of your training grounds, your training arena. And what it is that you're doing at the moment is you're using these sort of domed locations that are samples, let's put it that way, training grounds, testing grounds, whatever you want to call them. Oh, they're samples of the environments you're going to run on your missions as an interstellar marine. And that brings on one of the game's most interesting features. Once in a while, at a timed interval, I'm not entirely certain because I haven't counted what the time interval is, the map changes atmosphere. Right now it's gloomy, it's dark, it's foggy, and it's raining. You can see rain falling on my visor. After rain and after fog, you might end up in pitch black darkness because it's nighttime. After that, you might end up in, a sunny mountain valley, sort of like you've seen in Far Cry or Skyrim or something like that. And it's all in the same map. And imagine this going on in multiplayer. Sorry about that. Imagine this going on in multiplayer. It's absolutely fantastic. It just provides an on-the-fly challenge that I haven't seen in other games. I don't know why other games aren't doing this. I've heard people calling it, it's a gimmick. I don't think it is a gimmick. You have a flashlight. You can walk around corridors with a flashlight, and on the pitch black mode that the map goes into, in that mode, if you're running around with your flashlight, oh man, you're a walking target. You're a walking, talking target. Let's see where this stops right now, because I want to see, show you guys the other modes the map has. Look, dusk, beautiful. I mean, sure, the graphics aren't Crysis 3 level. Well, maybe they are because I can't run this at maxed out, and I think you'll see that the YouTube video might be a little bit twitchy, glitchy. It might hiccup a little bit here and there. I hope you'll bear with me, because the point isn't to show off the game graphics and such. It's to talk about this project and what it and how much ambition these guys have, and how much I admire the fact that they've been able to pull off this amount of fantastic design in a pre-alpha game that is currently fully stable. I haven't seen anything like this in game development in a very long time. Now, because I'm walking around here, I can request the next environment state by myself, apparently. Let me see if that works. Yep. Let's see where we end up right now. Yeah. Now this is interesting. Nighttime. Pitch black. Imagine this in multiplayer. Think about it. You're on the map. The enemy is around you, but you can't see them unless you've seen that was thunder and lightning and thunder. Unless the lightning flashes and you see your enemy and you get a quick glimpse, but he might get a quick glimpse of you, you can just, walk around with your flashlight on. And look at this. Look at the atmosphere. Imagine this in a single player level where, there's strange sounds and creatures running about, and you're sort of with your squad and walking around the map and doing crazy things and not knowing where, the attack might come from. I mean, these 5 seconds here gave me more hope that Interstellar Marines could end up being a true sort of aliens game, much more so than any of the pre-release videos did for Aliens Colonial Marines. I've changed the environment state. They've gone. Sorry for that language mix-up over there. To show you a sunny, fully lit map. Again, they don't have a lot of things going on, but what they have, trust me, it's absolutely fantastic. I think this is one of the most interesting projects going on right now in this sort of alpha state of development. I think these guys deserve your support if you can give it to them. Now, whether you want to get in at the full prices of the packages that they offer is your choice. I personally, I will admit to this in an open way, I didn't pay full price for those. I bought access to this through a bundle. I think you should do the same. If you can afford the full price, do it. Don't do it because you want this to end up in the next Call of Duty killer, sort of next game that you play, next fantastic game, next whatever. Don't buy the game, but support the dream. That's what I did. I thought, you know what, some guys are willing to risk their bacon to, follow their dreams, and they actually made something. And I think that's fantastic. Now let's get back to the game. You've seen the character running around. That is absolutely, I think, a spot-on animation. He's an Interstellar Marine with a full combat gear pack on. You're sort of wearing a sort of heavy-duty backpack as well. I don't think you should be running all that faster. But the one thing I don't really like is the fact that I don't think this should be the normal walk speed. Something in between this and this should... See, this is the run mode, and this is the walk mode. I think walking should be a little bit faster, and this should be the slow walk or something like that. I don't know, maybe they'll work on this a little bit more when they get crouch and other things implemented into the game. Just to give you an example of what the trials and tribulations of these guys, when they hired a new animator, they had to redo the animations for your character. They couldn't reuse what they had in place. The new animator couldn't reuse those things because they weren't compatible with what software and whatnot, setup, whatever technology he was using. I'm not a technical person, so I can't give you that information with why they weren't compatible. They also have this red dot on the weapon. This really helps with aiming, but this is really awesome. Look, it moves within the reticle. That is just within the square there, within the sights. Uh, the reticle moves within the sights, and it's absolutely. I mean, it just adds tension. Imagine this in multiplayer. You're shooting, but you're not. You know, the thing moving around just makes it harder to aim. Also, there's. Look at the weapon. There's this sort of inertia to its movement. Again, this makes multiplayer quite challenging, and I think it's one of the games that doesn't depend on you having necessarily, instantaneous reflexes. Oh, there's the enemy, bang, dead, headshot, one shot, one kill. It doesn't work like that. It's a bit more tactical. It's a bit better designed, and not only that, it's a bit slower and a bit more skill-based, in my opinion, than any of the sort of Call of Duty clones that are on the market at the moment. I haven't played Battlefield, but from what I've seen of Call of Duty, I don't like that sort of twitch. Oh my God, there he is dead, there he is dead, there he is dead. I don't like that. It requires time, a lot of time, to be put into the game to be able to do that. And before you get to put in that time, you're crap. You're not good enough to actually take on the guys who are good at those, that Twitch sort of multiplayer. This isn't easy, people. The fact that I said that, I don't like Call of Duty taking up a lot of time doesn't mean, for you to get good. Doesn't mean that Interstellar Marines is easy or accessible to people who don't know what they're doing. But 10 minutes into the game, you already have a basic understanding of the concepts. 20 minutes into the game, you might be able to do well. But if you put in time, of course you're going to get better. Of course you're going to be much better than someone who has less than an hour's worth of playtime. Let's jump into another map. I don't know what you guys think. I like it. I like the graphics. I like the atmosphere. Look at this. Listen to the sound. Look at the atmosphere. Look at the fog and everything. Imagine this in a single-player game. I'm sorry, Aliens Colonial Marines didn't have anything that looked or felt. That's the keyword here. Felt as good as this from moment zero. What they kept showing was crap gameplay and fake graphics. And I'm sorry to those who bought those lies, but I didn't. I thought from the first moment on, this is going to be crap, and it turned out to be crap. Aliens Colonial Marines, I never bought the lies, like I said. I'm sorry for those who did. With this, though, I feel that there is true potential here. I'm not saying that it's going to be fulfilled. I'm not saying that there's actually going to be a game made. I'm not saying that there's going to be much more than this bare bones multiplayer aspect that they have at the moment, because to be honest, it's just team deathmatch and a couple of maps, but with the added element of the environment states, which is fun, but there's not a whole bunch of anything else. I'm going to jump in on another map, one that I particularly like. This map doesn't have environment states in terms of weather. This map has elevation changes on the fly. That's another challenge that I really like. Look at this. I think this is fantastic. See? Certain parts of the map, now everything is sort of lined up, but then certain parts of the map will lower, certain parts, sorry about that, will rise up. And again, it's an added challenge to the multiplayer. And when it's this dark and this atmospheric and this hard to see and it's tactical, it's slower. I think it works. I think it's fantastic. Let's move on quickly to another setup. Look, the main hub right now is elevating, elevated, while the rest of the map is lowered. And the animation, some parts move faster than others. There's potential to this project, people, and I feel that these guys have none. Whether they have the skill or not to pull it off, I don't know. Whether they have the resources, I'm certain that at the moment they don't. That's why they need your support if you can give it and are willing to give it. I'm not actually encouraging you to. I'm not telling you that you should or not give it to them. It's your choice. But I feel that they have the mindset to pull off something like this. The lighting changed, the elevation has changed, the game design, of the design of the map, the format of the map has changed. So that means that the gameplay itself has changed. Right now, enemies might be coming out of there. You're gonna have a hard time seeing them. They're gonna have a hard time seeing you. The lighting is getting in your face. It's making things harder to see, actions harder to perform. Hey, think of it this way. You can go and wait for this to be a part of another bundle, pay something like $5 and get an amazing multiplayer game. It might be sort of short on content, but it's wonderful in terms of design and wonderful in terms of atmosphere, and it doesn't look half bad either. And there's plenty of people playing this, and trust me, the people who are playing this, they're not exactly unskilled, if that's a word. These people are skilled. These people know how to play the game, because the game actually ranks you as a player. If you see in the bottom of my screen there, it's when it says 540 TP and next rank is 600 TP. That means I'm rank 5. I have no idea what the ranks do, by the way, but I'm rank 5, and I'm pretty... I'm essentially, 2 kills away from getting to rank 6. Let's switch on to another map. Look at this. You're in the jungle. You get a sort of a predator feel from this. Let's change the environment state. You've crash landed apparently here. Or you need to rescue someone from this. Just imagine the possibilities. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything more. I'm not telling you, oh man, this is going to be an amazing game. This is going to be the best game ever. This is going to be so fantastic. You should know. I don't. Sorry, I don't think in those terms. I don't do that. I just wanted to highlight the fact that these guys are very ambitious. They have poured their hearts and souls into this project, from what you can see on their channel and from what you can read about them. And I think from what we've seen so far, they are talented and they know what they're doing, and I hope to God they actually end up doing what they've promised with the single player part. Now let's just make everything look as good as it can. I mean, look at this. If you can't tell me this, if you think this looks bad, I don't know what to tell you. I think it looks very, very nice. It's not Crysis 3, but this was made for what probably, I don't know, the catering budget of Crysis 3. You know, these guys don't have the budget to develop their thing fully. Now let me show you, because I'm not going to, I'm not embarrassed, but I'm getting 34 frames per second at the moment, 33. That might make the YouTube video a bit laggy, but you know, I think it's worth it. I mean, just think of this in single player, with creatures coming out from there and creatures coming out from over there, and you're hearing your ally right over that side of the map screaming, "Help, man, help! Come over and get me!" I think this is fantastic. Fantastic potential. And I would like to see whether these guys actually have the project management skills to make this happen. Look, winter. So it's not just jungles, it's not just sort of forests or brush, or it's not even just sort of office spaces and gray buildings. It has winter. I mean, this takes. Look at the lighting. Oh man. And the sound design, they have certain things that they do with the sound design that just. Hence, I mean, remember System Shock 2, where Shodan would come over the PA system and say all sorts of creepy, scary things and messages. They have something like that in this game. It's an early sort of, and it's in an early stage of development. There's just some sort of random announcements like, Dr. Phil, you have a message from Mars, Dr. Phil. Even that little tiny bit of audio is very well done and gives me hope that the full project will be, quite fantastic, quite interesting, quite atmospheric, and a pleasure to play. Now, before I end this video, let's jump into a little bit of multiplayer. Let's see how many players. I'm playing at a sort of a weird time for. Oh, it's password protected. Damn. Okay. Must be some sort of tournament going on. I didn't know about it. Maybe they made some sort of official announcement.
Three minutes remaining. Your team is losing.
Yep, I just joined the game and my team is losing. Yeah, performance is taking a big hit. Let me just drop this back to something a bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm sorry if the video on YouTube isn't, Oh, I think I got shot. Oh no, these guys are shooting each other. I'm sorry if the YouTube video
Initiating next domination zone.
isn't as fluid as I'd like it to be.
Your team is losing.
Yeah, I haven't met anyone yet. I definitely think I'm playing at the wrong sort of time to get players. I missed. There's a minimalist HUD. For some reason, I don't know why it's off right now. The game does have a HUD. That guy's from my team. There's colors markings on his uniform to point out which.
1 minute remaining.
Let
Your
me just.
team is losing.
I have no idea why I'm not seeing more of the HUD. I can raise up the helmet. It doesn't really. I don't get any damage. It's not, atmospheric enough yet. It's not. Excuse me. It's not fully implemented yet.
Initiating next
I don't mind that.
domination zone.
Okay, guys, I think I'm going to leave it at this moment in time. I don't think there's enough people playing for me to actually be able to show you something more than this. I hope you like the video. I'll be having more videos on this game on the channel. Join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us on the website weekendslice.com, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you feel like it. Like I said, on the channel, on the website, and everywhere else, new videos only during weekends. That's why it's called the Weekend Slice. Every weekend, a slice of entertainment. Have a good one, people. Bye.